My dear students, today we are going to start the new topic, that is writing process. And in the topic, you can see that there are 5 stages of writing process. Number 1 is pre-writing, then drafting, revising, editing, and publishing. So what is the writing process? Writing is a process that involves several distinct steps like pre-writing, drafting, revising, editing, and publishing. It's important for a writer to work through each of the steps in order to ensure that he has produced a polished, complete piece. The writing process is not always linear. So what does that mean? That it's not always going to be like you, first of all, you're going to generate ideas in the pre-writing step and then and then start drafting the whole composition and then go for revising. Maybe when you are in the editing stage, you feel, no, you have to go back to the stage 1, that is pre-writing, and generate more ideas. So it's not always linear. A writer may move back and forth between steps as needed. Like here is another example. While you are revising, you might have to return to the pre-writing step to develop and expand your ideas. So let's discuss all the steps in detail. Step 1, you're already familiar with pre-writing because we had 2 lectures earlier on this topic. So pre-writing is basically you have to make sure you understand your assignment and you are going to decide on a topic to write about. Consider the audience of your work, who is going to read your work. And then you have to brainstorm ideas about that subject. How to generate ideas. We have already discussed this as well. Thinking, taking notes, talking to others, brainstorming, outlining, and gathering information like interviewing people, researching in the library, and assessing data. Although pre-writing is the first activity you engage in, generating ideas is an activity that occurs throughout the writing process. Step 2, that is drafting. Drafting is basically writing the actual composition on paper. So putting your points and ideas on a paper and then arranging those points in a readable manner, and you collect and accumulate the entire information from pre-writing stage at this stage. And first of all, you're going to write a rough draft. Afterwards, you try to arrange those points in the best possible way and gradually prepares a final draft. So you have to keep one thing in your mind, that drafts are not perfect. Don't bother if you're making spelling mistakes or grammatical errors. So keep it in your mind that this is just your first writing. Draft tends to be writer-centered, means it is you telling yourself what you know and think about the topic. Don't feel that you have to finish the whole paper in one sitting. No, you can have many days for drafting your writing. So just get some words down on a paper, even if they sound silly or awkward. Don't bother yourself about that. Don't pay attention to such things as spellings and grammars at this stage. So the third step is revising. Revising means that you are going to scrutinize, read your draft thoroughly, and you are going to re-examine and rearrange the points you have already written in the draft. Maybe you're going to add new points, or maybe you're going to replace or remove some less important and irrelevant points as per requirement. Make the outlook of your writing catchy in this way. And in this step, the document becomes reader-centered. It's no more like writer-centered. So you are concerned more about your reader. Think more deeply about your reader's needs and expectations from you. How much support will each idea need to convince your readers? Which terms should be defined for these particular readers? Is your organization effective? Do readers know acts before they can understand why? So these type of questions you may ask yourself in this stage. Revising can be done in 3 ways. You revise for your audience, you revise for your purpose, you revise for form or format. So basically, revising for audience is that you are going to think about your audience. Is the level of detail appropriate for my audience? Is it not too general, or maybe it's going to be too specific? So you have to keep these things in your mind. Are my ideas in logical order from a reader's perspective? Have I used clear transitions to help the reader follow my train of thought? Transitions, you are familiar with that. You are going to use transitional words, maybe first, second, next, later, things like this. Are my sentences clear and specific? And is my tone and style appropriate for my audience? The second step of revising is revising for purpose. Is my purpose clearly stated in the article? Or is the purpose clearly maintained throughout the document? Means you're not going to put any irrelevant information throughout the document. Does all the supporting information clearly relate to my purpose? And does the organization of ideas best fulfill my purpose? So you are going to ask yourself these questions during this stage of revising. And the last thing is revising for form. Here you are going to ask yourself, do I follow the established form of the document I'm writing? Because the actual academic writing, it involves certain format and you have to follow that format to be able to publish your work. So do I separate ideas into paragraphs with clear topic sentences? Do I maintain balance among my points, developing each to the same extent? That means like whatever points you are going to write in your composition, make sure that you are going to give equal detail to all of those points. For example, in this presentation, we have discussed 5 points. So it's not going to be like you are going to give so many details regarding pre-writing and you are going to miss maybe the other part of that. So give equal details for all the points. Okay, coming towards step 4 of the writing process, which is editing. Editing means that you are going to refine the tone of your writing, check each line thoroughly, check spellings, grammar, punctuation, sentence structure, and format. You can modify your lines as well as theme. So this is a point to be noted here, that it's not only that you are going to check your language, you can also check and edit your theme. Use your word processor's built-in spell check, but don't. So it is recommended to give your writing to someone else for editing. Here is an example of editing in front of you. Like you have written some lines and then you see the punctuation or capitalization incorrect and you are going to correct it. So the final step of every work is publishing, because you are putting so much effort into writing. Make sure that the ultimate goal of your writing is publishing. Publishing can be of different types, like it's the last stage after editing. You submit the work to the publisher. Make sure your written document should be completed before giving to the publisher. Each writer's goal is to publish his work and reach to the readers. Yes, that's true. So there are different ways to publish your writing. In the initial level, you can just turn in a paper to your teacher or entering an essay contest, or you may want to send a letter to the editor or writing for a college magazine or newspaper. Similarly, posting a piece of writing on the internet and writing a letter to a public official or company. And the most suitable for any academic writing is submitting your work to an international journal, obviously, because you have put in a lot of effort to write your work. Don't just waste it. Try to reach uh, to the international journals and publish your work. That's all for today's lecture. I hope it's clear.